Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, today we are totally tearing down the bro science and handing you the absolute, definitive, science-backed blueprint for muscle growth. If you want to know exactly what to do in the gym, and just as importantly in the kitchen, to pack on lean muscle without wasting your time, you are definitely in the right place. We've combed through massive systematic reviews, sports science data, and expert programming to give you a complete, no-nonsense roadmap. Let's dive in.
You know the feeling, right? You're putting in the hours, you're sweating buckets, but the scale isn't moving, and honestly, the mirror looks exactly the same. You've hit a plateau, and your gains have completely stalled. It's incredibly common, so don't stress. But here's the good news. It usually just means you're working hard rather than working smart.
Section 1. Stop making these gym mistakes.
It is surprisingly easy to fall into these traps. According to sports health data, one of the biggest errors out there is just blindly copying advanced routines. You see some elite lifter doing a massive, complex 6-day split, and you try to replicate it without supervision or adaptation. Well, ignoring your own physical capacity like this is basically a one-way ticket to injury. The data clearly shows that it's vastly superior to perform foundational, basic movements with excellent execution rather than attempting complex movements poorly. You really have to master the basics first.
Section 2. The science of muscle growth.
So this specific hypertrophy checklist actually comes directly from a massive systematic review by researcher Javier Raya Gonzalez. If you want to grow, your workouts literally need to hit these exact marks. You want 3 to 5 sets per exercise, living mostly in that 6 to 12 repetition range, but the absolute crucial part here is RIR, or reps in reserve. This needs to be between 0 and 2. What that means is when you finish a set, you should physically only be able to do 0, 1, or 2 more reps before total muscular failure. If you could have done 5 more reps, well, you aren't lifting heavy enough to trigger growth. Combine that intensity with a full range of motion and an internal attentional focus, meaning really thinking about squeezing that specific muscle, and you have created the perfect scientific environment for growth. Okay, but what about rest? We've all heard that old myth, right? Rest 60 seconds to feel the burn? Well, sports science completely shatters that. When you're lifting heavy to trigger muscle growth, your body primarily uses the ATP-PC, or phosphocreatine energy system. If you cut your rest short, that system simply can't recover. Acid builds up, and your power output drops off a cliff. Taking 2 to 3 minutes allows your energy substrates to reset so you can hit the next set with maximum mechanical tension. Moving on to Section 3, volume and progressive overload. Now, progressive overload is not just about mindlessly slapping more plates on the bar every single week. Yes, increasing the weight is one way to do it, but if you can't increase the weight safely, you have 4 other highly effective options. You can do more reps, or maybe add an extra set. You can reduce the rest times between sets to increase density. You can simply execute the movement with better technique and more control, or you can slow down your lifting tempo, specifically the eccentric or lowering phase, to increase the muscle's time under tension. All of these force adaptation week after week. But how much total volume should you actually be doing? It helps to think of your body like a car engine, using Mike Israetel's volume landmarks. The MEV is your minimum effective volume. That's just enough gas to get moving and trigger growth. The MAV is your maximum adaptive volume. This is the sweet spot. You're cruising at the perfect speed for maximum gains. But then we have the MRV, your maximum recoverable volume. This is literally redlining the engine. If you constantly push your volume past your MRV, you cannot recover. Your muscles won't grow, your joints are going to ache, and you will totally burn out. More is not always better. Finding your MAV is the real key.
Section 4. Choosing your perfect split.
So you've got 2 major contenders here, and honestly, picking the right one is absolutely vital to managing all that volume we just talked about. First, we have the full body split, done 3 days a week. This is absolutely optimal for beginners, or really anyone with limited time. You hit every muscle group 3 times a week, which ensures high frequency for skill development and leaves you with plenty of recovery time. Then we have the push-pull leg split, done 3 to 6 days a week. This is best reserved for intermediate to advanced lifters. It allows for massive amounts of volume per muscle group. But listen, if a beginner tries a 6-day push-pull leg split right out of the gate, they're going to hit that red line MRV we just talked about and completely exhaust themselves. Once you pick your split, you can smartly layer in cardio strategically without killing your gains. LISS, which is low-intensity steady state, like brisk walking, is incredible for active recovery on your rest days. MIS, or moderate intensity, builds up your endurance, while a quick 15-minute HIIT session offers really intense conditioning. And what if you're short on time during your lifting days? Use agonist-antagonist supersets. It's a massive time hack. This means alternating opposing muscle groups, like doing a bicep curl immediately followed by a triceps extension, because the muscles oppose each other, one recovers while the other works, saving you huge amounts of time without compromising your performance.
Section 5. Fueling your muscle gains.
You probably noticed the foundation of this recipe. A caloric surplus is non-negotiable. Your body simply will not build new muscle tissue if it doesn't have the excess energy to do so. Alongside that surplus, the systematic review highlights some very specific boosters for muscle protein accretion. High-quality whey protein and the amino acid leucine are your building blocks. Omega-3 fatty acids have actually been shown to directly favor muscle protein synthesis. And here is a fascinating science-backed hack for you: consuming pre-sleep protein. Studies like those done by Snyder's and colleagues show that ingesting protein right before bed significantly increases overnight muscle mass and strength gains. Your body does its absolute best repairing while you sleep, so give it the fuel it needs. So, are you ready to stop guessing and start growing? You now have the science of tension, the truth about rest times, the mechanics of progressive overload, the perfect split to match your level, and the precise nutritional triggers to force adaptation. The guesswork is officially over. But remember, building muscle is really just one side of the metabolic coin. What exactly happens to your fat stores when this new muscle mass shifts your resting metabolism into overdrive? We'll leave that math for you to ponder. Take these blueprints, hit the gym, lift with intention, and start growing. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.